Clara had always prided herself on being a problem solver. She juggled tight schedules like a circus performer, resolved workplace crises with finesse, and kept her life meticulously organized, though work consumed most of it. But no amount of planning could brace her for the chaos awaiting at her family's sleek, modern kitchen table, a blind date orchestrated by her relatives. Clara felt cornered. Her mother, Evelyn Wynne, a woman with a knack for meddling disguised as matchmaking, sipped her tea with poise, delivering her proclamation like a judge's ruling. "You're meeting him next Friday." "I've already arranged it with his aunt," Evelyn declared, her tone leaving no room for debate. Clara gripped her spoon tightly. "Mom, I don't need you fixing my love life." "Ridiculous," Evelyn countered smoothly. "You're 27. It's time to prioritize a future, not just your job." Clara glanced at her father, hoping for backup. He just turned a page in his magazine, mumbling, "Listen to your mother?" Typical. Her younger sister, Mia, always eager to stir the pot, grinned from across the table. "I hear this guy's loaded, Clara. Maybe he'll bankroll that dusty little magazine you work for." Clara shot her a look. "Editing is not dusty." Mia shrugged. "Says the woman who spends her weekends tweaking articles instead of, living a little." Evelyn's eyes gleamed. "Exactly. You need excitement, Clara. Romance." Exasperated, Clara blurted, "I already have a partner." The words slipped out in a panic, and she regretted them instantly. Evelyn froze, teacup halfway to her lips. Mia's jaw dropped, barely hiding a snicker. "Pardon?" Evelyn asked, her voice sharp. Clara's heart raced. She doubled down, desperate. "I said, I'm seeing someone." Evelyn set her cup down, hands clasped. "Who are they?" Clara's mind scrambled. Someone convincing. Someone believable. She swallowed hard. "Marvelous," Evelyn said, her smile unnervingly calm. "Bring them to dinner next week." Clara's stomach sank. "What?" "You heard me," Evelyn replied, her tone sweet but cutting. "If they're real, we'd love to meet them." Mia leaned forward, smirking. "Oh yeah, Clara. Can't wait to see this." Clara considered faking a sudden work trip to another continent, but Evelyn was relentless. She'd just reschedule. A week later, Clara was trapped, with no partner and no escape plan. Then, fate threw a curveball. Clara was at her desk, buried in a manuscript about a knight falling for a rival lord, when her phone pinged. "Mia, problem solved." "You're welcome." Clara's eyes narrowed. Mia's help was never good news. "What did you do?" Clara texted back. "Your partner's ready for dinner. They're thrilled to meet you." Clara's pulse spiked. "Excuse me? You'll love this. It's Riley Parker." Clara nearly dropped her phone. Riley Parker, her lifelong nemesis. They'd grown up on the same street, competed in everything from math quizzes to who could down more tacos without blinking. Riley, with their cropped dark hair, piercing green eyes, and a smug grin that always got under Clara's skin, was the last person she needed. Now, that same grin stood in Clara's apartment doorway, arms crossed. "So," Riley teased, "you're finally admitting you're obsessed with me. About time." Clara clenched her jaw. "I'm going to strangle Mia." Riley chuckled, stepping inside uninvited. "Nice place. Do all magazine geeks live like this?" "Don't start," Clara snapped. "You're not my partner," she added firmly. "Not yet," Riley said with a playful wink. "But dinner's in 2 days, darling. We'd better get our story straight." Clara's head throbbed. This was a nightmare. 2 days later, at the one family dinner, Clara watched in disbelief as Riley won over everyone. "Riley your baker? How charming!" Evelyn exclaimed. "Why keep it a secret?" her father asked, peering over his glasses. Mia reveled in the chaos, grinning. "Yeah, Clara. Why so shy?" Riley took Clara's hand under the table, warm and steady. "I like keeping her to myself," they whispered. Clara nearly spat out her soup. Even her reserved father nodded. Baking was a respectable trade. Then Evelyn dropped the bombshell. "Clara, you work too hard. You and Riley should take a romantic getaway. I'll pay for it." Clara's world tilted. Riley's eyes sparkled. "That's perfect, Mrs. One. Right, love." Clara's eye twitched. She was either going to kill Mia or, worse, end up falling for Riley Parker. "Oh, absolutely," Riley said, clearly reveling in the moment. "How could I not fall for Clara? She's so intense about her work, so focused, downright charming when she's flustered." Clara nudged Riley's shin under the table. Riley didn't even blink. Her grandmother, Gran, observed silently, her keen eyes dissecting every move. Clara knew better than to trust that calm. Gran could spot a fib from a mile away. "Riley," Gran said at last, delicately lifting a piece of bread. "What's Clara's favorite dish?" Clara's breath caught. Riley paused, fork halfway to their mouth, then locked eyes with Gran. Tricky question, because Clara's a bit sneaky. "What?" Clara whipped around, glaring. "She claims it's spicy noodles," Riley said smoothly, "but deep down, it's Gran's homemade sesame flatbread." Clara's jaw dropped. Gran's lips curved into a rare smile. "Not bad," Gran said. "You're observant." Riley winked. "I try." The dinner stretched on agonizingly. Riley flirted outrageously, brushing Clara's ankle under the table, leaning too close, snagging bites from her plate like it was second nature. And Clara's family ate it up. Her father, usually reserved, gave a nod of approval as Riley talked about their bakery. Clara, one had never been so frazzled. Mia, thriving on the mayhem, watched Clara unravel with glee. And Clara was losing it. Amid the banter, the teasing, and the constant touches meant to sell the act, something shifted. She noticed things she didn't want to. The way Riley's voice softened when mentioning their late aunt teaching them to bake. The way their green eyes held a fleeting, unguarded look whenever Clara flinched at a touch. Worst of all, when Riley casually brushed a stray hair from Clara's face. Gentle, instinctive, intimate. Clara didn't hate it. She nearly dropped her fork. By the time dinner wrapped up, Clara was drained. She fled to the kitchen, claiming she'd help with cleanup. Naturally, Riley followed. "I can't stand you," Clara muttered, scrubbing a dish. "You don't mean that," Riley said, leaning against the counter, arms crossed. "Come on, one. You enjoyed yourself." Clara spun to face them. "Oh yeah. Loved being embarrassed while you played lovesick puppy." Riley grinned. "Then I sold it well." "You're impossible," Clara snapped. Riley stepped closer, voice low. "And yet your cheeks are red." They were not. Before Clara could fire back, Evelyn's voice rang out. "Clara, come here a moment." Clara sighed, trailing her mother to the living room, steeling herself for the next catastrophe. Evelyn beamed. "Great news." "That was never good." Evelyn clasped her hands. "Our friend's son is getting married next weekend, and you and Riley are invited as a couple." Clara gaped, horrified. "What?" Evelyn nodded, delighted. "It'll be lovely. A romantic escape." Clara opened her mouth to argue, to say this fake relationship was spiraling out of control. Then Riley sauntered in, catching the tail end of the conversation. "Oh," they said, leaning against the wall with a grin. "Sounds perfect, Mrs. One." Clara spun to glare. "What?" Riley shrugged, all innocence. "What kind of partner would I be if I didn't take my stunning Clara to a wedding?" Clara was going to combust. Evelyn clapped, thrilled. "It's decided." Mia, lurking nearby, was definitely recording this for future torment. Clara turned to Riley, voice low. "I despise you." Riley's smile was pure mischief. "Oh, love, you're going to adore dancing with me." Clara's fate was sealed. Clara had never fussed over an outfit like this. She wasn't one for dramatic entrances, or stealing the spotlight. But standing before her mirror in a sapphire blue dress, fitted at the waist, flowing softly at the hem, she had to admit she looked good. And she hated that Riley would see her like this. The thought of her lifelong rival turned pretend partner smirking, teasing, charming her effortlessly made Clara's stomach flip in a way she didn't trust. A sharp knock on her hotel door broke her thoughts. We're running late." "Let's," Riley's voice cut off as the door opened. For once, Clara saw something beyond Riley's usual smugness, a quick, unguarded look in those green eyes. Clara crossed her arms. "What?" Riley blinked, recovering fast. "Nothing. Just didn't think you'd look this good." "That's your compliment?" "Didn't think I'd look good." Clara scowled. Riley grinned. "How about wow when you're gorgeous and I can't look away?" Clara's face burned. "Shut up. Let's go." She brushed past, catching a whiff of Riley's scent, clean, earthy, maddeningly pleasant. And, naturally, Riley looked infuriatingly sharp in a tailored gray suit, the top button of their white shirt undone just enough to make Clara's pulse skip. The wedding venue was stunning. The hall glowed with warm amber lights, elegant floral centerpieces, and a refined charm. Clara tried to ignore the stares they drew, how Riley's presence seemed to pull focus effortlessly. Riley, of course, leaned into it. Their hand rested lightly on Clara's lower back as they entered, perfectly staged for effect. "If you don't stop acting like you own me, I'll stab you with my spoon," Clara hissed. Riley chuckled, leaning closer. "Careful one. People might think you're into me." Clara grabbed a glass of wine from a server. She'd need it. As the night wore on, Clara faced an unsettling truth. Riley wasn't just irritating. They were witty, charismatic, and natural with people. They chatted easily with guests, drawing laughs, keeping things lively. And with Clara, too. Less biting remarks, more warmth. Their eyes lingered too long. Their fingers grazed hers, sparking something electric. Clara hated that she didn't hate it. When the music slowed, Clara tried to slip away, but Riley was faster. A gentle hand caught hers. "Not so quick," Riley murmured, guiding her to the dance floor. "I don't dance," Clara muttered, stiffening. "Oh, you do," Riley said, effortlessly drawing her closer. "You just need the right lead." Clara's breath caught as Riley's hand settled on her waist, warm, grounding. The music enveloped them, a soft blend of strings and piano weaving through the air, syncing with their heartbeats. For a moment, the world faded. No family, no wedding crowd, no pretense. Just them. Clara's mind screamed to pull away, to rebuild the walls between them, but her feet followed Riley's lead with unnerving ease. They moved together, steps fluid like they'd done this 100 times. Riley's voice was low, teasing. "Remember that summer we fought over who was faster on the bike trail?" Clara rolled her eyes. "I was faster. You took a shortcut. Cheater." "Semantics," Riley grinned. They both laughed, the memory sparking something warm. Those silly rivalries over bikes, grades, everything, had always been their way of connecting. Clara's chest tightened at the thought. Riley's fingers grazed her waist, a fleeting touch that sent a shiver through her. Suddenly, it felt too real. The music softened, the venue's lights dimming to a warm glow. Riley's eyes flicked to Clara's lips. Her pulse raced, and for once, she didn't retreat. Didn't push back. Riley didn't ruin it with a jab. They just held her gaze, their breath warm, carrying a faint hint of their earthy scent. Clara wasn't sure who leaned in first. It was slow, electric, a moment she wasn't ready for but couldn't break. Riley's lips were inches away. Then, "Riley, oh my gosh, you're here." A loud, cheerful voice shattered the moment. Clara stumbled back, nearly tripping. A vibrant woman with a wide smile swept in, all energy and charm. "Sophie." "Hey." Sophie looped an arm around Riley, oblivious. "We have so much to catch up on." Clara's stomach twisted, a feeling she couldn't name. Riley glanced at her, a silent question in their eyes. Clara mumbled an excuse, something about needing air, and bolted, her heart pounding, cheeks burning. One thought lodged in her mind. She'd wanted Riley to kiss her. And that was dangerous. In the cab ride home, the city lights blurred past as Clara sat rigid, arms crossed. The wedding was long over, but she could still feel the ghost of Riley's breath, the heat of their almost kiss. She hated how her heart still raced. Hated how Riley had acted like it was nothing afterward. And most of all, she hated that it mattered. When Sophie had interrupted, Riley had slipped into easy conversation with her, that familiar grin in place, while Clara felt unmoored. She clenched her fists. Fine. If Riley could act like it meant nothing, so could she. Except she couldn't. Back home, Clara buried herself in work. Stacks of manuscripts, late nights at her desk, ignoring Mia's teasing texts about her partner. But Riley lingered in her thoughts like an unshakable echo. The worst part? Riley was acting normal. No playful love to rile her up, no shared jokes, no stealing bites of her food. And that irritated Clara more than Riley's teasing ever had. Days later, they met at a cozy diner to keep up the fake relationship charade, thanks to Mia's meddling. Riley showed up late, in a worn leather jacket and faded jeans, looking effortlessly perfect. Clara barely looked up from her laptop. "You're late," she said flatly. Riley shrugged. Got held up. That shrug grated on her, but Clara didn't push. She let silence hang between them, convincing herself she was fine, that she didn't care. But a quiet voice whispered, "Why does it feel like they're pulling away?" Her mother's relentless nagging didn't help. Over brunch, Evelyn poured coffee with practiced calm, launching into her usual lecture. "You're not getting any younger, Clara," she said. You need to think about settling down. I'm 27, Mom. Not 60, Clara groaned, setting her fork down. You say that now, Evelyn replied, but soon everyone around you will be married with kids, and you'll regret not planning ahead. Clara gripped the table, exasperated. Can we skip this today? Mia, quiet until now, grinned. So, you and Riley still going strong? Clara shot her a glare. Yes. Mia leaned in, eyes gleaming. Funny, you look miserable. Evelyn's brow arched. Trouble in paradise? Clara faltered. Why did that question sting?
No.
We're fine, she said. Too fast. Mia's smirk grew. Clara stabbed her pancake with extra force. She was definitely going to throttle her sister. That night, Clara couldn't take it anymore. She stormed into Riley's bakery after hours, the bell above the door jangling as it slammed shut. Riley, wiping down the counter, barely glanced up. What's up? Clara's jaw tightened. Why are you acting so weird? Riley raised a brow. Weird how? You know how, Clara said, stepping closer. You're different. No teasing, no calling me love to mess with me. It's like, she faltered, frustrated. Like you're dodging me. Riley sighed, setting down the rag. I'm not dodging you. You are, Clara insisted. And I want to know why. Riley's green eyes flickered, guarded. Why do you care? Clara opened her mouth, then shut it. Why did she care? Why did Riley's distance feel like a loss? Every time Riley acted like nothing had happened, why did it feel like Clara was the one left exposed? She crossed her arms. It's not fair, she said finally. What's not? Riley tilted their head. You went along with this fake relationship mess. You started it, playing it up, acting like you know me inside out. But now, when something almost happens, you pull back. Her voice rose, words spilling out. Riley was quiet for a moment, then a slow, knowing grin spread across their face. Why so upset when? Riley's voice was low, almost staring. Clara froze. Riley stepped closer, the air between them heavy with something unspoken. It's almost like, Riley said, eyes locked on hers. You wanted me to kiss you. Clara's breath caught. She couldn't move, couldn't speak, just stared at Riley, her heart slamming against her ribs. Then Riley stepped back, expression shifting. Forget it, they muttered. I shouldn't have said that. And just like that, Clara was left standing there, breathless, confused, and grappling with one undeniable truth. Riley was right. She had wanted that kiss, and now she didn't know what to do with that. Clara had zero interest in the party. Exhaustion weighed her down. Work deadlines loomed, and her confrontation with Riley still rattled her. But her best friend, Lila, wasn't having it. You need to snap out of it, Clara, Lila said, tugging her arm. Have a drink, dance, forget your fake partner for one night. Clara sighed but let herself be dragged along. Now, surrounded by the buzz of a crowded loft party, laughter, clinking glasses, pulsing music, she wondered if Lila was right. Maybe a distraction could erase Riley Parker from her mind. Fate, however, had other ideas. A murmur rippled through the room, heads turning toward the entrance. Clara glanced over, and her heart sank. Riley, looking effortlessly magnetic, walked in with Sophie, the radiant, poised woman from the wedding, on their arm. Sophie giggled at something Riley said, her hand resting lightly on their sleeve, and a sharp pang twisted in Clara's chest. Her grip tightened on her drink. Whoa, Lila whispered, catching Clara's stare. Is that? Yeah. Clara cut her off, turning away. Lila raised a brow. And you're okay with this? Clara shrugged, forcing nonchalance. Why wouldn't I be? Riley can do whatever they want.
Doesn't bother me.
Lila's knowing look said she wasn't buying it. Clara drained her glass. She didn't care. Except she did. When Riley's eyes scanned the room and locked onto hers, Clara's whole body tensed. Their gazes held, charged with something electric and unspoken. Then Riley did the worst thing possible. They smirked, leaned closer to Sophie, and whispered something that made her laugh. Clara's grip on her glass nearly cracked it. You're so jealous, Lila said, stifling a laugh. I'm not, Clara snapped, glaring at her friend. Lila just stared. Clara. Clara set her empty glass down. I need air. Lila sighed.
Sure.
Not jealous at all. Clara stormed onto the balcony, her frustration boiling over. She'd barely been out there a minute when footsteps followed, and a familiar voice, low, teasing, infuriating, broke the silence. Something wrong, when? Clara didn't turn. Leave me alone, Riley. Riley ignored her, stepping to the railing beside her. You bolted out of there pretty fast. Almost like you were running from something. Clara took a slow breath. I wasn't running from anything. Riley let out a soft laugh. The silence between them crackled with tension. Finally, Clara faced them, arms crossed, voice sharp. Why are you here with her? She demanded, words unsteady. Riley blinked, tilting their head.
What?
You heard me, Clara said, her frustration spilling out. Why are you with Sophie? Acting like none of this matters. Riley's smirk faded, their tone careful. Clara, what are you really asking? Her chest tightened. She wanted to stay calm, detached, but the words poured out. Why are you even doing this? If this is just a game to you, some big joke, then why bother? Why do you? She shook her head, voice breaking. One minute you act like it's nothing, the next you're looking at me like it means something. Like that almost kiss wasn't just part of the act. Riley's jaw tightened, their voice low and rough. You really don't see it, do you? Clara froze. See what? Riley stepped closer, green eyes blazing with something raw. Maybe it's not a game anymore, Clara. Clara's breath hitched. Neither moved. Riley's hands were clenched, their breathing uneven, as if holding back. Clara's heart pounded so loud, she could barely think. She swallowed hard. Riley let out a dry laugh, shaking their head. Forget it. Before Clara could respond, Riley turned and walked away. She stood there, stunned, their words echoing. Maybe it's not a game anymore. An hour later, Clara sat on Mia's couch, staring at the ceiling while her sister rubbed her temples. Let me get this straight, Mia said. You stormed out of a party because Riley showed up with someone else? That's not, Clara started. Then you argued, basically admitted this whole thing's real to you, and let them walk away. And now you're here, looking like you lost a fight with a rain cloud. Mia's tone was flat. Clara glared. I don't look like that. Really? Because you're eating my emergency cookie dough ice cream, Mia said, pointing at the pint in Clara's lap. Clara groaned, slumping back.
Fine.
Maybe I'm a little jealous. Mia grinned. Say that again, and this spoon's going at your head, Clara warned. Mia shrugged. Deny it all you want, but you're a mess because you're into them. Clara froze, her grip tightening on the spoon. Mia's grin widened. You like Riley. Clara opened her mouth to argue, but no words came. Deep down, she knew Mia was right, and that terrified her. Rain poured as Clara raced through the city, breath ragged, shoes slipping on wet pavement, hair clinging to her face. She didn't care about the downpour or how absurd she looked. All that mattered was reaching Riley before it was too late. Mia had mentioned Riley was leaving, a work trip for their bakery, flight in a few hours. Clara's focus sharpened, her heart driving her forward. Now she was running, reckless, desperate, fueled by one thing, Riley. She burst into the bakery, soaked and panting, startling the staff cleaning up. Riley stood by the counter, bag over their shoulder, keys in hand, about to leave. They turned at the door slam, green eyes wide. Clara? Clara took a shaky breath, stepping forward. You were never just my rival. Silence. Riley's lips parted, their expression shifting as Clara's words hung in the air. I spent so long acting like you were just someone I had to outdo, Clara said, her voice raw and unguarded. But really, I was just too stubborn to admit how much I cared about you. Riley's breath caught. Clara's heart raced, her eyes barely meeting theirs. I didn't see it back then, but looking back, it was always you. For the first time, Riley Parker was at a loss for words. They stood frozen, green eyes wide, as if Clara's confession had flipped their world upside down. Then, slowly, a familiar grin tugged at their lips. So, Riley said, a spark in their gaze, you're saying you've been into me this whole time? Clara groaned. Of course Riley would turn her heartfelt moment into a chance to tease. Just shut up and kiss me, she muttered. Riley didn't hesitate. One moment they were standing there, the next their lips were on Clara's, warm, sure, real. Clara's world tilted. Riley's hands framed her face, gentle yet firm, like they'd been waiting for this as long as she had. Their bodies drew close, the air between them electric, and for the first time, Clara felt like she'd stopped running. She was exactly where she belonged. A week later, Clara sat at her family's kitchen table, Riley beside her, their fingers laced under the table. Mia sat across, smirking like she'd seen this coming from a mile away. Evelyn, arms folded, fixed them with a sharp look. "So," she said, voice pointed. "When were you two going to come clean?" Clara nearly dropped her coffee mug. "Come clean about what?" Evelyn rolled her eyes.
Please.
"I'm not clueless. That whole partner act? I knew something was fishy from the start." Clara's stomach sank. "You knew?" "I let it play out to see how far you'd take it," Evelyn said, sipping her coffee with a smug smile. Mia laughed. "Classic. Clara, you're so predictable." Before Clara could spiral into full-blown panic, Riley squeezed her hand. "Well," Riley said, turning to Evelyn with a calm, confident grin, "you'll be glad to know something else." Evelyn raised a brow.
Oh.
Riley leaned back, their smile widening. "It's real now." Silence fell. Evelyn let out a dramatic sigh, and Clara wanted to disappear. "Mia," Clara muttered, "you're loving this, aren't you?" Mia raised her hands, grinning.
Guilty.
Clara groaned, dropping her head onto the table. This was her life now. Riley chuckled, their thumb tracing soothing circles on Clara's hand. And despite the chaos, the ridiculous path that led here, Clara couldn't help but smile. For the first time in ages, she was right where she wanted to be, with Riley Parker for real.